Hey guys, what's up? It's Deprimido. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here in FL Studio and I'm going to teach you how to make beats like this.
How did Deprimido make this slap so hard?
So as you saw from the title, I'm going to be teaching you how to make beats for Hotboii. Hotboi's a really dope artist coming out of Florida. He's still on the rise, but he's definitely getting pretty big. Personally, I think a lot of his music is really good, especially his drill stuff is my favorite, but I like it all. So like I mentioned, he does make drill music, but he actually makes a lot more pain music. So that's what I'm going to start with today, and then I'll get into the drill beat next. So usually these are going to be a little bit more aggressive than regular pain beats. They usually are in the range of about 140 to 200 BPM. I decided to go with 180 right here. And as you would expect from a pain beat, a lot of these melodies are going to be really like emotional or sad. Pain melodies are really simple. You just want to start out by picking a few chords, and then you can kind of just mess with the notes that are in those chords. So like originally this would be more like this, and it wouldn't have this note, but I just decided to just add that note and then put that note right there. Then you can just add in a few extra notes, but for the most part, pain melodies are pretty simple to make. This is what it sounds like. Then for the counter melodies, again, you're going to hear a lot of piano and guitar, but you also might hear some strings, pads, and especially vocal chops. So personally, I just used arcade and I started with this vocal chop. Next, I used arcade again and I just went with chopped, and I just laid down a little electric guitar line. And after that, I just used expand. I grabbed a pad and I just layered that main melody on it. Sounds like this. I'm also just going to mute the piano real quick because it's really hard to hear the pad otherwise, but this is what it sounds like. So as you can hear, very soft pad sound. By the way guys, make sure you go over and check me out on Patreon. We've got an exclusive Discord server for all of the patrons. I also post all the FLPs from the beats that I make over there, and I also post the videos of me actually making the beats. It's only a couple bucks a month, so if you can, I would really appreciate the support. So next, getting into the drums, I just laid down a really simple clap. You're either going to mostly hear claps, or you might hear a clap layered with a snare or something like that. But obviously this is very simple, sounds like this. Next, I just laid down a hi-hat pattern. We're mostly going to keep it pretty simple for these beats. A lot of the time, it's just going to be a two-step with some rolls and stuff in it. So this is what it sounds like. Next, for your 808, these are usually going to be pretty clean sounds for the most part, and they're going to be pretty short sounding, like the Z 808 or something like that. We're mostly going to be following pretty standard kick patterns for this, so this is what it sounds like. Next, I just laid out an open hat. For the most part, for these hi-hats, you can usually just like copy the 808 pattern and then take out a few notes. This is what I did. I also just randomized the velocities as well as the panning. And finally for this beat, I just added a bounce snare. These counter snare patterns are really going to be pretty simple. Just sounds like this. By the way, before we get into the next beat, make sure you go over and follow me on Instagram. It's going to be linked down in the description, and once I reach 2,000 followers, I'm dropping a free MIDI kit. But lastly, let's just run through the mix and the arrangement for this beat. For the piano, I just threw on RC20, some really simple stuff right there. Then for this vocal chop, I just filtered it out with an EQ quite a bit, and then I added some reverb. I turned the wet up quite a bit, turned the dry down just a little bit, turned up the size quite a bit, and I turned up the diffusion quite a bit. Then on the guitar, I just added a little delay. It's really simple, just a quarter note delay, and I turned it down here a little bit. Then I also also added a reverb, again really simple reverb. I don't think I really did too much to this other than turn down the diffusion a little bit and mess with the dry and wet knobs. Then on the pad I did another bandpass EQ, mostly tried to keep like the mids and the high mids for this. Then on the 808 I threw on isotope trash and I just picked a preset. Then with the open hat I put it a little bit more into mono but not all the way, and after that I just leveled everything, pretty simple. Then with the arrangement it's really simple here. We just did a 2-bar intro, hook, verse, and so on, then just a 1-bar outro and we faded it out. It's pretty simple stuff. Pain beats aren't really that difficult to make. The only thing that really separates this from most pain beats is that I find that Hotboii's beats are usually a little bit more aggressive than most other pain beats, but other than that there's really not too much different than most pain beats. That's why I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of time on that beat. So next, getting into Hotboii's more like drill style. I'll be honest, he doesn't really stick to one style of drill beats. He's used like Flint beats, Detroit beats, Chicago drill beats, Florida drill beats, like all different types of stuff. So everything that I'm going to say, kind of take it with a grain of salt. It really depends on what style you're going for. The tempo on these beats were usually going to be anywhere from about 150 to 175. I just decided to go with 153 right here. But like I said, this can be a lot of different styles, so if the style that you're doing is out of this tempo range generally, then just go with that. For our melodies, you're going to hear a lot of pianos, Spanish guitars, and bells. And obviously these are going to be like hard, dark type of melodies. So I just decided to go with a piano and I laid out this progression right here. Overall pretty simple. I just added in the root notes and then I added in the fifth, pitched it up an octave, and then I also had the root notes up 1 octave. That's the same for all these chords. It kind of just goes down in steps. Then I added a few extra notes to give it a little bit more of that bounce. So this is what it sounds like. Then I just used Alt-S to strum the chords a little bit and Alt-R to randomize the velocities and the panning. For your counter melodies, we're going to be going somewhat minimal for these. Again, you're going to hear a lot of pianos. You're also going to hear some strings as well as like dark vocal chops. So again, for the vocal chops, it's always going to be arcade for me. Just laid out a pretty simple pattern right here. It goes like this. Then I just added a little simple string melody, which sounds like this. And that's all I did for the melody. Pretty simple stuff. Like I said, keep it kind of minimal. Next, getting into the drums, again, just a simple clap. For the hi-hats, again, really just stick into that simple vibe. I just added a 2-step. It's kind of weird. In these beats, you're either going to hear like a 2-step or you're going to hear a 2-step with a ton of rolls. And there's not too much in between. It's usually either very basic hi-hat patterns or very complicated hi-hat patterns for these beats, but do whatever you want, really. So this is what this sounds like. Then we're going to be, again, using mostly short and clean 808s. And the patterns are going to be pretty simple, although you might want to go a little bit busier than you would for most beats on this. So this is what my 808 sounds like. Mostly going to be hearing really basic open hat patterns in these beats. For me, I just put it on the 1. Sounds like this. Then for the bounce snare, again, very simple. And that's all I actually added to this beat. So next, getting into the mix, I didn't really do too much. We just got some reverb on the strings right here, pretty simple. And then I put the hi-hat in mono. After that, I just leveled it, and that's all I did for this mix. It's really simple. And for the arrangement, you guessed it, it's very simple. We've just got a little 4-bar intro here, hook, verse, and so on. And then again, fading it out for the outro. So overall, Hotboii beats are really simple. There's never too much going on. They're pretty standard beats, honestly. But yeah, right here on the screen, I'm gonna put a playlist of all of my type beat tutorials. Definitely drop a comment and let me know what artists you want to see me cover in this series. But that's about it, so thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.